When the kinglet of Monaco started realizing that the kingdom was slowly becoming strong economically, he began to enjoy his power. During many functions or programs like coronation ceremony, felicitation programs, festivals, he used to consider himself as a great king. Till then, everything was going well. But once, after few years, one day a murder took place, and the sudden crime in the state made many people to be very much shocked by the incident, including the ministers and other courtiers. Hence, the king decided to organize or hold a meeting in the court after a sudden crime. When the ministers came, they started discussing for hours together. They thought what kind of punishment could be given to the murderer. And finally, the ministers decided to give death punishment to the murderer. And they sent the letter to the king. After going through the very letter, the king also decided to give death punishment. He signed on it. Everything was complete. The last task that should be done to the criminal was to give him the punishment. What kind of punishment? Death punishment. And all were ready. Everything was ready. The criminal was supposed to give the death punishment. At the very moment when they were supposed to give the death punishment, they realized that they did not have the guillotine machine, which could cut the head of the murderer. And this became a new challenge for the state. The reason was, in the absence of guillotine machine, according to the ministers, it was impossible for them to give the death punishment for the murderer. Hence, they came back once again to the king and told that it was impossible for them to give death punishment without the guillotine machine. Considering the fact, the kinglet asked the very ministers of the court what could be done to get the guillotine machine. and they decided to ask the French government to provide the guillotine machine. And they wrote a letter to the France government. When they wrote a letter, the reply came back. And in the letter, it was written that the French government was ready to give the guillotine machine, but they were, or the government of Monaco was supposed to give 16,000 francs in return. When the king came to know that they were supposed to give 16,000 francs, the king thought that it was not so easy for him to give that much money, because to give that much money he was supposed to once again impose many taxes on each individual of the kingdom, and it could become burden for the individuals, which might result in the revolution or a civil war. Hence the king told the ministers to reconsider the matter. Thereafter, since Italian monarch was brother monarch, they decided to send letter to Italy.